Hi, friends. How many of you have been in a car with somebody and they were upset, so they started driving really fast or recklessly, and you started feeling scared and like you were in danger? And yeah, you wonder, what was that? Was that even okay? I think this is something that happens more often than it should. It's a little bit normalized. At least I experienced this as a teenager, and I also experienced it as an adult in one particular relationship. And yeah, it left a mark. Like, I still sometimes have flashbacks from it. And I want you to know that if this is something that you have experienced and it troubles you, that is a normal response to it, because that is abuse. Anytime you are in a moving vehicle with someone and they have control over said vehicle, no matter what it is, and they're driving in a way that makes you feel like you are in danger, especially if you speak up and say, hey, can you slow down? Or hey, can you like not text while you're driving? Could you watch the road? Those are all very perfectly normal requests to ask somebody who has your literal life in their hands. If they get upset with you, if they rage at you, if they stonewall you, especially if they continue to drive recklessly or fast, that's abusive. And you are totally valid in feeling like that is a huge red flag and an indicator that this person and this relationship is unsafe. It can be really terrifying to be in that position, especially when the driver is angry at you and using the car as an intimidation tactic. They are literally using the car as a weapon against you, psychologically, to control you and subdue you and to assert their power over you. It's like road rage, but it's directed at you versus other drivers. They'll speed, they'll drive way above the speed limit, make a lot of really risky maneuvers. They might slam on the brakes, they might tailgate somebody. It usually has the passengers, gripping their seat, and has the nervous system in a fight, flight, freeze. Obviously, you probably can't fight the person who's driving the car, because that would endanger you as well. You can't run unless you undo your seatbelt and open the door and roll out of the car, which is also a dangerous option. So usually when we are experiencing that, we go into freeze, which is just freeze up and pray you stay alive, or fawn. Sometimes we go into placating. When I experienced this as an adult, I definitely went into the super overly sweet, hey sweetie, like I've been in a bunch of accidents before. Like I tried to blame it on myself and my own trauma in order to try to get this person to understand that driving 55 in a 30 was terrifying me. I just like the reckless behavior. Yeah, it really scared me. And it was true. I did have some car accidents when I was younger, and they took a while to recover from. And it terrified me. And so my response, or my tactic, shall we say, was fawning. I was trying to explain that I had been in many car accidents, and explain the God, there's, you can't believe this when you look back, right? Yeah, I was trying to explain like all of the different physical maladies I had from that and how long it took to recover, and try to explain to him like how the nervous system works. And yeah, like, it's my trauma, it's my feelings, right? Because when you're with a narcissistic person, you do have to take responsibility for everything. If they're at fault for anything, then a whole nother can of hell breaks loose on you. Gosh, yeah, but looking back, I remember trying to calmly explain to this person, and while trying to calm them down, that, hey, I'm a human being. I have feelings. I am scared right now. I have trauma that support, like I had to argue for my fear. Like, it's not just that I'm afraid. It's not just that this is dangerous. It's like, okay, maybe, yeah, it's like I have this reasoning in a past that like can bolster my argument that I'm afraid and this is dangerous and I feel like my life is in danger. God. Yeah, if you're in it and if you've been there, you probably know what I'm talking about. I will say, if you are having to plead with somebody for your own humanity and having to remind someone that you love each other, if you have to remind someone that you have feelings, and that, you know, you're mortal and might be afraid of being in danger, if you're having to do any of those things, you're probably dealing with somebody whose head is not right. Those kinds of people, when you find yourself like having to plead or beg for to be recognized in your humanity, and yeah, as a person with feelings and over explaining this kind of stuff, like that person's probably highly narcissistic, sociopathic or psychopathic. Most people don't react that way, especially if you find yourself explaining that kind of thing consistently, like in every argument. That might be a good indicator that you're not actually the problem, that this person has a huge problem with empathy and being able to recognize you as an actual human being with the same feelings and emotions as them. But I digress. Back to the car thing. So if you're in a car and the person who's driving is doing so in a way that makes you feel unsafe, whether or not they're mad at you at first, they could just be mad at the world, mad at something. That's not okay. It's important to speak up. And if you feel afraid to speak up because you're afraid how that person's going to react, then, you know, you're a victim of abuse. Yes, that person is being psychologically abusive in that moment. And if you do say something and confront them and they get more angry, you know, the person that this happened with would tell me later on, like, you need to trust my driving. They would get very upset that I didn't trust them. Which, as we know, that tends to happen with yeah, this particular type of person. Usually a narcissistic individual will double down on the behavior and tell you that it's, you know, your fault for not trusting, that you're too sensitive, that yeah, they'll blame you for being afraid or traumatized, rather than understanding that they are actually being psychologically abusive and putting another person in danger. And then that person has every right to stand up for themselves and to request a safer route to travel. Another thing that could happen is a person, you know, could threaten to drive into something or to crash the car into something, or they could threaten to leave you on the side of the road stranded. I mean, people do that. Yeah, if that happens, that is psychological abuse. It's not normal. It's not okay. It is totally normal and okay for you to be very upset and alarmed by that. And if someone is doing that to you, yes, that is enough reason for you to call off that relationship or to leave or to take space, because that is abusive. It's abuse. Like, yeah, it's abuse. Anyone who is putting your life in danger and using a car as a weapon to threaten your safety and your sense of well-being, that's dangerous. You could die. That's abuse. You don't need to trust them. I know this might sound like a weird topic, and if it is weird to you and you've never been through it, then I'm happy for you that you don't understand. Those of you who have been through it and you're sitting there wondering, like, am I doing something wrong? Do I deserve this? You know, am I pissing this person off? Like, no, it's not your fault. This person is unstable. They should not be using the car as a weapon. They should not be terrorizing you when you are in the car, and you should not be afraid for your life when this person is behind the wheel. Just wanted to send you a little bit of validation if you're going through that, and send you all my love.